City goons anatomy of a police lie. Police are on the spot for failing to arrest 5 men who assaulted a Nairobi businessman 10 days ago. The story continues on page 2. It's a big story. Police on the spot as city goons yet to be arrested 10 days later. The story is also on page 3 of the Standard, meaning it is also very relevant. Boiling pot of city politics where only the tough reign. And it would appear that after the flooding disaster, the next disaster will be the city, because it appears goons have taken over. This is something that also needs to be tackled now. Don't you think, Bwana Kipruto? This is a capital city. If you were to be treated the way Bwana Timothy Muriuki was treated and the people go scot-free.
Well, it was not a very interesting clip to see because I think they just wanted to humiliate the gentleman. But what I know in Kenya today, impunity rules. And you see, in terms of organizational dynamics, what the big guys do, everybody will copy. And therefore, people have decided that they are not following the law. They are not following procedure. Whenever I have a problem with Mutula Kilonzo Jr., I go for him by hiring some goons. Because we seem to have depleted confidence in the corridor of justice where all these things should be done. If Mr. Muriuki, for some reason, had made a mistake, there are so many avenues he can be sanctioned. But for some reason, for almost 2 hours, because that clip is so long, and he was moved, I think it could have been one of the hotels up towards the Norfolk. Then he ran away, he was held and made to sit on water, and the jacket removed. The guy also tried to run, but I think his age does not allow fast running. So that's the danger that we run into. And I'm made to understand when we had discussion with the senator here that the gentleman also that you are referring to as goons, because I fear them, was in a wedding over the weekend in the company of some prominent people. And yet there is 500,000. I don't know why Kenyans cannot...
There's money to be made.
Yeah, to be made out of such one act of getting hold of these guys. Yeah.
Wow.
You have to worry sometimes when you see some of the events, because one, this gentleman was not assaulted in a playground. He was assaulted in what would be a prominent place in a hotel where you're supposed to have security. So you have the concern is whether actually Kenyans are secure. Number two, when the police issue a bounty for people who are operating in the city, what does that tell you? Does that mean they have no intelligence? Does that mean that they cannot find them? Does that mean that the cameras we have in the city, 2,000 of them, cannot identify why these people disappear to? It gives the impression that you can actually commit a crime right in the heart of the city and then disappear into oblivion, which is also a tragedy. But let me tell you, this is what is called state-sanctioned impunity. Means these people were acting under authority of somebody who is obviously protecting them.
Yes.
They are hiding. Most likely you will hear tomorrow that somebody has issued an anticipatory bail for them, and then all of a sudden they are going to appear in the public domain. The impunity, and if this was an ordinary crime, if this was you, Fred Dimuli, I can tell you, you will be in committee day 3 wearing very ugly uniform. I can assure you. The only reason 10 days later these people have not been arrested is possibly because they are well connected. This was something that was well arranged and they know what they are talking about. The fact that they have arrested one of my colleague MPs also paints a very bad picture about how the city is being run. And it's good we tell the governor, Nairobi, because we support him because we live here. We live here. That he should not allow some of these things to creep into his administration, because he should denounce this sort of activity. Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko should agree and allow to be criticized at whatever level and have a mechanism of responding to whatever it is that is being told that is going wrong. Because things are going wrong. And therefore, we will not shut up and we will not worry that if Mheshimiwa Kiru and I leave Citizen, we're going to find the road blocked because we said something is wrong with the city. There's something is wrong with the city. And that something must be addressed. But thirdly, the disaster you talk about, again points to a weakness in the system and what is a misapprehension. Nairobi is the only city in this country that enjoys what is called a status where national government and the county government have a role under the Urban and Cities Act. The national government, where the seat of government is in Nairobi, cannot watch as the city is going down the drain. They have formed a task force. I don't know whether it is a task force, some committee to collect garbage. And you wonder whether you need a committee to do so, whether you need a meeting to collect garbage. Garbage must be collected. Drainage must be fixed. This is the city. We are not in a village.
Yes.
By the way, I traveled to Kisumu, and I must thank Professor Anyang'o and the management of Kisumu County. We were in Kisumu and Kakamega during the devolution conference. That city is spotless. Those people who are going to benchmark in Rwanda and Kigali travel to Kisumu. You will be shocked about traffic management. It is so orderly. I didn't believe that during the elections that place is the most rowdiest in the country because it is absolutely organized.
Yes. And they also argue that the national government should not just sit back and watch as all these things happen to the capital. They also even say that probably as we relook at the laws, that probably Nairobi should not be should not be among the 47 counties. It should be considered a special unit to be run probably by a different administration, straight from the national government, probably a cabinet department, a ministry.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether I should support those who want to run through proxy. If the national government has failed on its duty to manage what they ought to manage within the city, there is no guarantee that having a minister in charge of will change anything. But remember Nairobi, even when we had the provincial system, it was considered as a special province, given the fact that it is the entry to Kenya and by extension East Africa. And therefore, we need to look at Nairobi and spend more resources, both in terms of public education, because part of the problem of the garbage that you see in the drainage is our bad manners. Because you find a very nice car like that of Mutula throwing a bottle out of the window. Then you wonder, this man, for him to afford that car must of course be somebody very serious in society, and yet he's throwing a lot of rubbish through the window. That is the beginning of the problem. Number two, I think we spend so much time thinking of how to eat instead of trying to clean the environment under which you're going to eat. That is over which you are going to eat. That is the beginning of this mess.
If you're going to eat, at least clean the environment.
Clean the environment so that you eat something on a clean plate.
I don't think on my part, and I agree with Mheshimiwa Kira, that the solution is revert Nairobi to central government. Everybody thinks that the minute nurses goes on strike, revert to national government. The reason why we actually devolved some of this work is because national government had failed to do it. Now, the law, the way it is in the Urban and Cities Act contemplates that Nairobi should have a city manager. Kisumu, I just mentioned Kisumu, and Kisumu has a city manager, and it's clean. But Nairobi has Nairobi itself. We take pride in statistics that it gives 60% of the GDP comes from Nairobi. The whole private sector operates in Nairobi. Nairobi should be the benchmark for Kiambu, Kajiado, Makueni, Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret. Because it's supposed to be the dispersal point. Now, why the private sector is not involved, I do not understand. Why the Nairobi city runs in the manner that it does, I also don't understand. Why the national government thinks that it should not get involved, I don't get. Because in a proper system, the national government would procure, for example, ambulances. The national government would procure a state-of-the-art fire engines. So that then these fire engines that go to Kibera don't run out of water on the way, or don't go and look for water when there's a disaster. The point is that all is not lost in Nairobi. The governor said recently that he did not inherit a government. There was no government in Nairobi. Nobody wants to tackle the issues in Nairobi. But one time or the other, there must be value for the money of just being in a city like this one, where everything must be properly managed. we encourage the governor to continue fighting the cartels in Nairobi, the ones of garbage, the ones of draining Siwa into Kirichwa Kubwa River and Nairobi River, those sort of things. It's not just the throwing of bottles outside car windows. It's the fact that a Kenyan, a human being, sane, who woke up in Nairobi, can exhaust Siwa into a river, knowingly, during the day, and nothing happens.
And nothing happens to them.
It's the same thing that happened during the election crisis, that somebody went with a truck to Jacaranda grounds and drained Siwa into the grounds. And you know, it appears normal.
Wow.
And he calls it bad manners. It's called impunity.